Hello, everybody, and welcome to this, our live event, Race for Eternity. I am so happy to be with you. My name is Gregory Darville. I am from the class of 1985. Ooh, that sounds so old when I say that, but I'm glad to be here representing our school, Blue Mountain Academy. And I am so glad you're here with us to just talk about some event that we are excited to share with you today, Race for Eternity. Before we get any further, I would like to introduce our principal, current principal, Mr. Bernie Culpepper. Bernie, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Greg. Glad you could come on and lead out in this endeavor we're talking about today.
Very good. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. And also, I have with me my classmate, Jim Slater, who hails from the class of 1985. Matter of fact, he has the dubious distinction of being the second tallest man in our class. So Jerry Smith was the tallest, and Jim was second. And now I think Jim told me at 14 he was like 6'3". So Jim was the tallest guy I knew at our school. So glad to see you, young man. Good to have you here.
Great to be here. Thanks a lot, Greg. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir. And if you all didn't tune in last night to our Saturday Vespers, you missed a treat. Jim brought the word of God with such power, tied it into relevant things. And I was telling my family, I was very surprised. My 14-year-old Ethan was engaged the whole time. He wasn't on his phone. He wasn't doing anything but listening. And Jim caught his attention. So it was a very powerful testimony, Jim. So we appreciate you. So
Thank
Jim,
you. Praise God.
It's been a while since we've seen each other. I think the last time we've seen each other was maybe our 25th anniversary or 30, somewhere around there. So it's been a little while. You look good, young man. I see you just lost a little hair. That's about all.
Yeah, I'm partying it on the other side now.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Yep.
Jim, just share with me some of your memories from Blue Mountain Academy. What things stick out?
Yeah, it's interesting. The experience at BMA was just amazing. It's every now and then I hear about kids talk about their high school or their academy years, and they speak about it in a way that doesn't seem to convey a sense of attachment or excitement. And I got to tell you, I had really an incredible experience at Blue Mountain Academy. From the first day I got there on campus, I happened to live as a village student. We lived in the community, and my parents had moved to BMA just a couple days after I graduated from 8th grade. And I stayed at BMA at home all the way through my senior year. And then at the end of that summer, went on to Andrews University. And I can hardly think of a day that I didn't enjoy being there. It was a tremendous experience. It's funny to look back now and realize just how close we were as classmates. You and I talked a little bit this afternoon. And of course, 5-6 years ago, we were together at the last reunion. But we would have interactions that are somewhat sporadic, that they take place spread out over years of time. And yet we can still have a conversation, and it feels like we're right back to where we were, our senior year. And that's incredible. There was something about the ages that we were at. You and I were 4-year seniors, so we spent 4 years together. To have that experience where we started really as kind of like children in bodies that were slowly becoming adults, and we left as legal adults, and the growth that we took that took place in our lives during those ages is tremendous. And I think that's one of the reasons why you form such close relationships in academy, is there such formative years. But man, what I remember a lot was that the faculty were so invested in the kids. We could talk to the faculty, and they would talk to us like that we really mattered to them. We had our campus parents, so to speak, campus mom or campus dad, and we would spend time with them. And I remember how special that was. But what I remember is that there was so many activities. Like for you and I, we were, I'm trying to remember, I think you and I were both in choir for all 4 years. Would that be correct?
Correct.
So we were in choir together. We shared some years in Bel Canto, intramurals. So there was always something going on that was connecting us to each other, connecting us to the staff. And really, again, at its core, the whole Blue Mountain experience was about connecting us to Christ. And it was a phenomenal experience.
Yeah. I remember your sister Janine. She was
Yep.
in school with us there at the same time. I think your mom worked there while we were there, and so I got to see the whole Slater family for the most part each year that I matriculated there. So Bernie, tell me, what is it like now at Blue Mountain Academy? What's the current student population, or whatever it is that you want to share? Because I'm interested, having, but I think it's almost going to be 40 years, I guess, soon coming up.
Wow.
And I can't even imagine what is it like there now.
Yeah, I know I haven't been here but just a couple of years, but I did go to school at BMA South in 1990, and so not too far off you guys. And I think just academy life in general has changed over the 30 or so years that I've been teaching, and the students still have that same desire to get close to staff, to form lifelong friends with people. They still want to do well academically, and there's a drive, a desire to get close to God with many of our students, and we're seeing the benefits of that here. I mean, just a wonderful experience our pastor has been leading out in. The staff are bought in, and the students are just taking control of the different things in the church program, the spiritual program. They're really asking questions, and we have some really nice leadership opportunities for our students. And so that probably hasn't changed a whole lot, the opportunities. We have Kettering. We're going to be going along with Kettering in a program here for our nurses, potential nurses, where they can get a full year of nursing classes completed. And Wow. It's a really exciting program. So those opportunities weren't necessarily available to us back in the glory days. But now it's just a different world we're living in. And my grandmother was a teacher for many years, and she said I couldn't teach these kids. And as she was much older by that point. I see it totally different. There is a huge need for teachers that are energized. There's a huge desire from our students. And so I think you would find it to be a lot alike in some ways, but kind of new in other ways. But that energy is still here. There's still teenagers here.
Excellent. And I can hear it in your voice that you remind me of the energy that Jim and I saw from Mr. Emery, who was our principal, and Hamlet Canosa, who came right behind him. I'm really excited to see that still exists, and the love for our young people is still there. So I salute you, sir, because I don't think I could do it. And I believe God has given people like you this gift to really pour into our young people. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate the ministry, because this is ministry. I mean, yes, it's a job, but you don't have to love on those young people as you do. You don't have to mentor them, and you choose to do so. So we appreciate all that you're doing there at BMA.
Yeah, and you don't make it in a boarding academy unless you do develop those deep relationships with students. You guys know that. That's the ones that had you over to their house, that went on trips with you. That's how you develop those deep relationships. Anybody can teach you 1 + 1 = 4, but it's just those relationships that no other place you can develop them like you can in a boarding academy.
Absolutely, totally agree. And talking about relationships and building those. So if you guys, again, did not hear Jim's testimony yesterday, again, you missed a treat. And guess what? It's still out there on YouTube. So you can go out there, look under BMA's channel, and you can find it there. There's probably even some links on Facebook that you can click and get to it as well. But a powerful message yesterday evening for Vespers, where Jim connected with his audience concerning his experience and how it has impacted his life even 40 years later almost. So, Jim, powerful testimony. And I want to reflect back to some of the things you said yesterday evening. Jim talked about his accident that he had. And let me tell you, I happened to be one of the individuals on that stage that saw the accident. And I was just 14. I mean, I turned, I was 13 just 6 days before that. And so I am so grateful that I was there. But, that was a traumatic experience. I can't imagine what Jim went through, but just watching what happened was an impact to me. And so I'll quickly go through some of what Jim said yesterday. So he was on the stage with us. There was a mat on the floor in the gym, and we were practicing backflips. And Jim had just came from work, and when he hit wrong, incorrectly, and he could not feel anything in his legs or in his arms, and for the moment, he was concerned that he was paralyzed. And he stopped breathing for a moment, and Coach Redding was there. And I tell you, as a young person, 14 years of age, looking at what happened to this nice guy, you're like, oh, wow, what's going on here? I've never seen anything like this. And seeing the ambulance rolling him out, never seen anything like that. And so that was a traumatic experience, I think, for all of his friends. Can't imagine what Jim was going through at the time. But as a young person watching that, and like Jim said yesterday, we think we're invincible. This stuff can't happen to us. We're going to live forever. And that was a real wake up for us. But Jim didn't tell you how we saw it from our perspective. And let me tell you what I personally saw through this. Yes, the incident was traumatic, but the way I saw Jim persevere after that, going through whatever therapy he had to go through, he did not appear down to me one bit. He was smiling still. I could tease him even, in some cases, even after he got the halo off, where he would, you say, hi, Jim, and he turned his whole body because he had not gotten through all of that surgery. But then the next year, and the following years, he's in bel canto with us, playing the French horn. Isn't that right, Jim?
Yes.
Playing the French horn, and because of his height, I told you, 6'3", as far as I was concerned, he's 7 foot, and he was playing center for us in intramurals basketball, and so it was just amazing, the spirit of perseverance and the positive attitude that we as 14, 15, 16-year-olds saw with Jim as he was progressing through all of this was just phenomenal. So I tell my son and my wife and my children, I told them this story because I told them this story years ago. And so when Jim talked about it on yesterday, it was like, okay, we heard this before. But then, and I was giving commentary all through Jim's talking about it, and they were like, shh, we want to hear it from his point of view. And so they could hear and understand what it was like to actually be in Jim's shoes. And I was telling my son, who actually has gone through a lot of surgeries last year, that I saw a lot of what in him is what I saw in Jim. Willingness to persevere, having a positive attitude, and being grateful for every day thereafter. So I want you all to know I am not surprised that we are here talking about Jim being engaged in some Iron Man event, because his perseverance, his ability to continue to move forward despite obstacles, despite pain, is just what I would expect from him. So, Jim, tell us about why we're here, this race for eternity. And I know you're doing something with this Ironman event, and I've heard that you've done this twice before, so I can't even imagine the pain and the agony and the recuperation. What do you have to do, first of all, to prepare for something like this?
Yeah, it's a great question. Just to let you know that the Ironman, depending on your level of talent or skill or physical fitness, the elite guys, the professionals that do nothing but do this, they'll probably finish it in about 8.5 hours. The cutoff time is 16.5 hours, and there's a number of people that won't finish. The average person finishes somewhere around 12.5, 13 hours. So it's a pretty grueling event. And I tell people that when you actually do it, I mean, your body is beat up. It's 12,000 calories for someone like me just to get across the finish line. And I'll probably lose, this time, if the last two were anything like this one, you'll probably lose 3, 4, 5 toenails just because of the pounding that your body takes. It's really amazing. But what's interesting is that people will say, that's incredible. How do you do that in one day? And I would tell you that as difficult as that day is, race day isn't really the hardest. You show up and you've got adrenaline and you're excited and there's crowds and all this kind of stuff going on. And the real challenge is the training. It's when you don't feel like getting up and it's 10 degrees outside and you're supposed to, 5:30, 6 a.m. And I'm not a morning person. And you're supposed to be at the pool to swim a mile before work. And I don't care how warm the pool is, you're cold and you get in that's where the race is won and lost. It's all in the training. And so, at this point, my wife, Sarah, actually is doing this as well. And we're probably up to, 11, 12, 13 hours a week of training between the swimming, the biking, and running. At some point, as we get into the summer, it might be as high as 15 or 16, but really, you're looking at 10 to 15 hours a week of training. If I'm on schedule during a week, it's 9 sessions, 3 swimming, 3 biking, 3 running. A week and a half ago, it was 70 miles on a stationary bike for 3.5 hours. And you can only imagine just how it's not even the cardio. It's like, well, do I have to sit here for that much longer? But that's what makes the difference on race day is, can you train yourself to do the things that you don't want to do in the training session? Because if you can do that, if you can train yourself to do it when it's not fun, you can do it on race day when it's really exciting. And that's what the goal is to prepare. So.
Can't imagine, man. Can't imagine. And you guys who are with us online, don't leave. We got a major announcement coming. We want you to hang around. I'm just trying to set the stage and set some of the excitement. So bear with me. I'm going somewhere. Stay with us. All right. So, Jim, you've talked about this Ironman event and of all the training that you have. Talk to me about the food. So surely you can eat everything that you want because you got to get all those calories, right?
I would have thought that too, but here's what I've learned is that you can't exercise your way out of a bad diet. I don't care how many hours you're out there. I was training 10, 12 hours a week and still putting weight on. So I actually have to be pretty careful about what I eat. And I've got a very specific breakfast that I eat and pretty much lunch. Supper, can vary, but there's a lot of things that I have to cut out of my diet to make sure that I'm able to get my body to kind of a peak efficiency. And the reality is I'm not there. I've still got a few more pounds to go before we get to race day. But you want your body, number one, to be as efficient as possible. And you find out pretty quick that you can't be at that efficiency if you're putting mediocre food in. So, you have to be really pretty disciplined with what you're eating. It doesn't mean that you don't have any days where you don't splurge, but by and large, you're trying to get to really what we've always been taught is healthy foods. The full whole grains, the fruits, the vegetables, the good solid proteins, and get rid of the things that we all love, especially me, but really don't help in that process. So,
absolutely. And before we go on any further, if you're watching, I want you to share this live stream on Facebook, whatever your social media platform. Let folk know we're here and we're talking about this Ironman event that's going to help Blue Mountain. So if you're watching us, please share what's going on here in your social media platform of choice. So I'm going to go to our principal, Mr. Culpepper. Bernie, tell us, what do you see how this project well, first of all, I probably need to start with Jim. Jim, talk to us about what it is that you're planning to do with this event and how is it going to benefit Blue Mountain Academy, or Principal Culpepper, I'll let you take it, either one of you.
Well, maybe I'll jump in for a second and just give you a little background on how we got here. And Greg, you did a great job talking about that event that happened when we were freshmen. And you're exactly right. It was traumatic. I know what it was like for me, but sometimes I forget what it must have been like to all of you guys having watched it and experienced it. And it's really amazing. And a heartfelt thanks out to you for just sharing that, what I went through meant something to you guys, that there was a positive influence on that. That means the world to me. And because it was a life-altering circumstance or event. Life is really my life before I broke my neck and my life after I broke my neck. It was a defining moment. And I've known for a long time, and especially as I get older and older and older, that every moment is precious. That I think back to how there's really no way I should have been here. If you saw the x-rays and went through that experience, I should not be here today. Every moment I have is a bonus moment that God's given me. And as I've gotten older, and in the last few years, if I started to do some more of these events, there's a real burden on my heart as I looked forward to 2021, which is this year, recognizing that September of this year, September 22, will be exactly 40 years to the day that I broke my neck. And 4 days later, on September 26, I have the opportunity to race in another Ironman. And that blows me away. You talked about the halo, and I can remember, when I was at Blue Mountain Academy, and this is not a knock on the students. This is how kids are at that age. You're called all kinds of names when you're wearing a halo. You know what I'm saying? It's meant in fun, but yeah, there's a lot of nicknames that you get, whether it's Metalhead or Space Cadet or whatever it might be. But to now have gone through what I've gone through and know that I'm going to cross the finish line and someone's going to say, Jim, you're an Ironman, and know what went into that is an incredible experience. And so I've been thinking quite a bit about, this really isn't an experience about me. I mean, I've already done a couple of them. It's really a neat event. But on 40 years, almost to the day of when that accident happened, I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about Blue Mountain Academy, because that's where God saved my life. And so I made a commitment, if I was going to do this, when I signed up last October, to talk to Bernie and through the conversation I had with him, talk to others in the alumni, et cetera, and say, look, you guys, I'm going to do this event, but I want it to be about helping BMA. It's been 40 years, and I'm a numbers guy, so I like it when the numbers all kind of work together. And we want to do a fundraiser, and maybe I'll get to that in a moment. But this is about saying, when I was laying there paralyzed and dying, the only thing that was wrong was that there was no communication, no connection from my brain and the rest of my body. All of that had stopped. And in a spiritual sense, oftentimes we find ourselves where if Christ is the head or the brain, and we're the body, that there's no communication going between us. And I believe with all of my heart that Blue Mountain Academy is all about helping kids to have that connection between us and Christ. And I think that there are kids that need to be at BMA. And so what I'm wanting to do is run this race and run it as a fundraiser so that we can raise money. We can have students that maybe want to be at BMA but can't because they don't have the money, to have that experience that you and I had, Greg, that phenomenal experience. But in addition to how just great the experience was, that they leave there having a living connection with Jesus Christ that they can take with them for the rest of their lives. Because really what I want, and I've thought about this, and I have goals for how fast I want to finish, and we're going to talk about some goals for how much we want to raise. I want to know that someday I'm going to meet someone in heaven and they're going to say, Jim, because I think we're all going to be on first name basis there. I want someone to say, Jim, I'm there because of what you did. And if that happens, I'm going to break down sobbing, because that's what this is all about, is can we have someone that maybe perhaps wouldn't have ended up in heaven because of not the track they were on, but they had an opportunity to be at BMA. They were able to connect to Jesus Christ, and it changed their life for eternity. That's really what this goal is all about for me.
Awesome. And I'm looking at, so I'm not being distracted. I'm looking at all the comments that I'm getting in the chat on YouTube, and I'm seeing what's coming up on Facebook, and people are responding, Jim, to the comments that we're talking. They're connecting with you. So I just wanted you, I know you might not be able to see all of them, but I'm seeing them, and it's pretty cool. Bernie, talk to me about how do you see what Jim is doing to help our students at Blue Mountain Academy?
Well, I think the simple thing is it brings in more funds for students to be able to attend, but it goes deeper than that, because we have students here whose parents are sacrificing for them to be here much more than likely like your parents did, and it's expensive. And so we're able to help those that are here be able to have a better experience as well. But we're also involving alumni. And I've always said it, when an alumni is not engaged with a school, your work is that much more difficult. Not just to fund a school, but to come back and bring memories. I mean, I remember alumni days when I was in academy. I look forward to it. And before I was in academy, my parents would take us to alumni days. And just the stories and the interaction and the camaraderie that goes on there, it gives our students something to shoot for, because we want the interaction back with the school. When alumni days comes, or camp meeting, there's a lot of alumni around here. It's that interaction that helps show them what it should be and how important BMA is for the future once they leave here. It's not now we're done. No, you still have a connection to staff. You still have a connection to your friends. You have a connection to the place here. I mean, it's a beautiful location. So there's a lot of things that can really come in positive, and it does allow us to do other things with our students, such as bring in other programs, bring in more teachers so that our science math department can grow, and we can really start providing the pre-medical things we want to do. Also, you got a shortage of pastors and a shortage of teachers in our system today. We're training those future leaders. So this isn't just about, money again. No, it's about our future as a church. It's about the future of these kids. Where are they going to go? Some people are invited to be pastors when they're in academy, or teachers when they're in academy. Are we going to be able to do that? And so we're excited that this is the direction we're going. And when Jim came to us with this idea, I've known Jim for a few years, and it didn't surprise me at all. And he's just so involved in this kind of stuff. We just jumped right on. And, we're excited about this. We're going to have some people there, hopefully, to cheer him on and video some of this.
Awesome. I know people are listening and like, okay, all right, we're hyped up enough, and we want to know what you're talking about. Well, we're getting there. We're gonna get there. Just give me a few bit more moments. So I would like, if we can, let's show the video now of what we are talking about. Just a teaser now. So go ahead and let's show that video.
It starts with a pre-dawn equipment check. Then it's an impatient wait in the darkness before an early morning plunge into cold water. After a 2.4-mile swim, it's a quick change into your biking gear. Then it's a 116-mile bike ride as the heat slowly climbs into the 90s. When you finally get off the bike, the only thing that stands between you and the finish line is a full marathon, 26.2 miles that tests your body and your will to finish. This is Jim Slater from the BMA class of 1985. An Ironman triathlon has been called one of the most difficult one-day endurance events in the world. And on September 26, 2021, I will be competing for the third time at the Ironman triathlon in Chattanooga. But this time, my motivation is different. Currently, there are dozens of young people who desperately want to attend Blue Mountain Academy, but they can't, for the one simple reason that they lack the money. I want to change that, and I'm asking for your help. My goal is to raise $200,000 for BMA students by finishing the Chattanooga Ironman this September. I'm not asking you to train for 10 to 15 hours a week. or to change your diet, or even to race. You don't have to swim 1 lap, or bike 1 mile, or even run 1 foot. You just need to give. People tell me all the time, I could never do an Ironman. That may or may not be true. I know that I can. But I also know that I can't raise $200,000 on my own. I need your help. You see, when I'm swimming this time, I won't be thinking about an announcer calling my name at the finish line. I'm going to be thinking about Jesus calling a young friend's name at the gates of heaven. When I'm biking, I won't be thinking about getting a medal and a t-shirt. I'll be thinking about our students receiving a golden crown and a robe of righteousness. And when I'm exhausted in the middle of the run, I won't be thinking about eating everything I want and resting for a week. I'll be thinking about our students, eating from the tree of life and resting at the feet of Jesus for eternity. So join me today in my commitment to making this goal a reality, and make your commitment to support our students in their race for eternity.
Awesome, 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 awesome. All right. I think now we're all enthusiastic about being a part of it. We've seen the video. We've heard us talk about the needs of the student. Jim has poured out his heart about his passion. So now, everybody, it's your turn. So let's talk about, Bernie, how can we go and support our fellow classmate, our fellow alumni in making this happen? Can you walk us through how something like that can be done?
It's pretty simple. All you need to do is go to www.bma.us, and you go to the special events page, and there you'll see the link. It's coming up right now, and you'll see exactly where to go in order to donate. And let's see, there's the page up.
You can't ask for anything simpler than that. That's pretty easy.
There should be a link. Donate now. Click on that and follow the instructions. So we're well on our way to our goal. And donation amount, that's a good one. Who's paying that one? With the credit card would take that one.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, we're at $3,000 right now already raised. We've just started off today. So
wow.
We're on our way, and that every dollar goes to help our students. It really does, and this is a huge undertaking. But this is a great alumni. The ones we talk to, I know they care about this school, and this is one of the ways that they can help by providing. So we'll have more alumni, more stories, more victories that Jesus will have given these students, and they'll be able to share with their friends and their kids and other alumni.
Excellent, excellent. And that was so easy to give. So after this program, I plan to be there to support my 4-year senior classmate, Jim Slater, if I can't be there in person. And if I'm not training, and I probably do need to at least run a 3 of those miles, Jim, or something, so I can lose some of this COVID weight. But man, it's amazing how God has fearfully and wonderfully made our bodies, and that we can do something like that. And so these are 3 events within one. So Jim, what is a Ironman triathlon?
Yeah, it's exactly what you're talking about. There's really 3 parts to it, although it's really one single race. And so, as you saw in the video, you start by doing a 2.4 mile swim. And now in Chattanooga, that means that you're going downriver. And so you actually get a little bit of an assist with the current, not a whole lot, but you do a 2.4 mile swim. And then once you're out of this swim, and that should take, for me, that's going to be about an hour. If I can cut it maybe a minute less than that, that would be great. But my goal is to finish that up in about an hour, since I've got the current hopefully helping me by a few minutes. But the race directors with Ironman, because you have that current helping you a little bit going down river, they've decided to offset that by adding an extra 4 miles on the bike ride. So a traditional Ironman is 112 miles. In Chattanooga, it actually is 116. So after that hour swim, you quick run into the changing tent, you get on your bike gear, and then you hop off onto the bicycle. And it's again, for me, and I'm not an elite athlete, I'm not an elite racer, but if I can be somewhere in the 6 hours 15 minutes, 6:20, maybe a little less, hopefully not much more, I'm going to feel really good about that. And what happens though is that usually in Chattanooga in September, like the video was talking about, it gets hot, and and sometimes these races it may approach 100 degrees. So you're out there on the asphalt, and the reality is that you can actually feel the heat coming up later in the race. And it's sweltering heat, and you get done with that and you hop off, quick change, and now you're in your running gear. And after everything else that you've done, now you've got a full marathon in front of you. And the goal is to just get out there and keep moving. I'd love to say that I'm sprinting for 26.2 miles, but the reality is you're not. You're moving forward as you can. There's a lot of running, hopefully, and periodically there's a few steps of walking just to let your body recover enough and your cardio to keep that going. But again, the full race, start to finish, is one event, 3 portions of it. And, for me, the goal is to be somewhere, if I can, right around the 12-hour mark.
Very good. Very good. I'm seeing comments on YouTube talking about I'm in. I see individuals putting up prayer hands and clapping hands. And I'm going to ask that you convert that to donating hands. and so you can go right now to the website and start donating. We want you to do it right now. I'm hopeful that before this program ends, we will have everything that Jim has for a goal for this triathlon Race for Eternity. So, hey guys, you can't do anything better than this. We're not looking for you to buy something. All of this money is going to go toward our students at Blue Mountain Academy. So there are individuals who need to be in that place, who come from rough neighborhoods like I came from, and who really Blue Mountain can make a difference out there in those mountains in that cold weather sometimes.
Yeah.
But experience the love of Christ.
That's right.
I tell you, I cannot recall a time that in my life up to that point where I actually felt the Holy Spirit rest upon me until I got there to BMA. I remember the afterglows, even after we would have a church service, and we just sing, and Mr. Emery would be on the guitar, and we would be there singing and feeling filled with the Holy Ghost, going back to our dorm room. So I would love for our children and teenagers to be able to experience that. I remember students from all over, from Puerto Rico, from New York, from just all over, coming to Blue Mountain and all being blessed. I haven't heard one person come to me after all of these years and say that I had a horrible experience. There's always something that a student or a fellow classmate can tell me, yeah, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, but I did have the best experience there, and I can tell you that I'm better off now because of my time at Blue Mountain Academy. And I think that's the testimony for most of us who've had that experience. So go to the website and start donating now, and let's have this opportunity for other students who are really yearning but can't afford to come to Blue Mountain Academy. This is something we can do. Right? We all can do that. God has blessed us with some means, and let's make a sacrificial gift today as we try to support Blue Mountain Academy and getting students here who really need to know about Jesus Christ and where people are willing to make a difference in their life. All right. Well, I'm about finished here, so I just want us to give an opportunity now for you, Bernie, or you, Jim, to just tell us any last words that you may have. I'm going to start with you, Jim, and then I'm going to go to our principal.
Yeah, Greg, thanks. And what a great job you did, as always. You know, one of the things, and I'll just mention this, you and I talked earlier, as a student going through school with you, there's not one thing that you ever did that wasn't done exceptionally well. And tonight, again, you know, outstanding job. Thank you so much for being willing to be part of this and helping out. And, you know, one of the things that's a real burden on my heart is that when we do this, that we do it because we care about kids and their relationship with God. And I think about, you know, as building on that, I know what I can do in terms of the physical drain that this is going to take, the time and all that. And my wife, Sarah, and I are also going to be financial contributors to this event, in addition to what we're doing. So in terms of actually doing the race, in terms of you know, getting information out there, that part isn't a hard thing for me. What's tough for me is that I'm not connected with a ton of people that need to hear this. And I know that you guys that are watching right now, you're connected with so many people. And so, as Greg was talking about earlier, if you can keep sharing this with other people, you know, on your social media, let's get the word out, because I absolutely believe that this is going to be a successful event. You know, there's sometimes that I think to myself, and I'll go back to this one comment here that I learned years and years ago. Everyone needs a goal big enough to be afraid of. And this is a big goal to me, to raise $200,000. Every now and then I think to myself, man, with all of the alumni, if we got the word out, I think we could do 1 million. I mean, I think we could really do something spectacular here. And then other times I think to myself, you know, if we don't get the word out, maybe we can only do 50,000. And I don't want to think like that. The real issue here isn't whether people are going to be willing. I think most people are going to be willing to jump on board with this, because I believe it resonates and it connects. The question is, can we get it in front of the right people? Can we get the message in front of enough people? Because if people will hear the message, I really believe that they're going to be connected to this. So you guys can do a huge blessing to this project. Those of you that are watching and listening right now, if you can get the word out with those that perhaps we haven't been able to connect with either, that would be huge. And that may seem like a small thing on your part. That's a huge part for all of us. So I thank you guys for being here and listening and joining in and being enthusiastic. I can't tell you what that means to me. You know, I'm going to get it done here tonight, and there's going to be tears in my eyes, I know, because of the comments that many of you have already made. Thank you so much for helping make this goal a reality for our kids, for our students.
And Bernie, before you get started, Esther, if it's possible, can you tell us how we're progressing so far? All right. All right. Guys, come on. You got to do better than that. I was hopeful that we'd have our goal by now. Come on, get out there and let's start donating. At least those of us who are on this call, let's go ahead and start the donation right now. Let's start donating. Let's start sharing. If we can't get it done by the end of this program, let's get it done by the end of the night. Let's share on that social media platform of choice, and let's get our friends, our classmates. We started a Blue Mountain Class of 85 group within Facebook. I've already posted this there, and so I'm hopeful that when others start looking at this rebroadcast of this event, they'll also be compelled to give. All right, let's go back to our dear principal. Bernie, any final remarks you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I definitely want to say thank you to both you and Jim for taking your time this afternoon to be part of this interview and help get the word out. I know we're going to be looking at our staff and our students sharing this out, because it really is going to be a grassroots effort, trying to connect with people. I agree with Jim. There's a lot of people out there. This is a large alumni base, and there's a lot of people who aren't alumni that still love the school, that it's affected them. Maybe their kids are the alumni. So this is kind of like a spider web of connections that go out, as I've met a lot of people going to different churches around here that have a connection to this school. So we need to tap into that and get the vision in front of them of what their dollars can do. It's not going to be for vain. These dollars are going to help students Train for the future. We're not training for an Ironman. We're training for something bigger. And no disrespect meant in that, Jim.
No, that's okay.
That the walk we're walking right now to heaven and training our kids for is so much more difficult. It would be easier if we could just get our running shoes on and go run a marathon than what our kids are facing today in the different places. I don't know how I would have turned out now. I see how my kids are. And this is a dangerous world we live in, but yet we're the difference makers. And our kids are the difference makers. And that's what these dollars are going to do. They're going to make a difference in somebody's life eternally. So I'm excited about this. I'm getting ready to donate as well, because I believe in what we're doing here. I'm not alumni from this school, but I believe in what's happening here, and the support that we have from the different alumni. So thank you again. And thank you to the alumni that are listening. Looking forward to meeting you. And it looks like we're up to $3,300 now. So
Awesome.
we're on the slide up.
All right. Well, come on, folk. We're gonna do this. We're gonna make this happen. Come on, we can make a difference in the youth of our community, and there are individuals who you don't even know that when you get to glory because of what you've done today and what you will do for this event, it will be because of you that they are there. There's going to be some individuals who's going to say, you know what? I didn't even know that you contributed to my education or my opportunity to be at Blue Mountain Academy. And it was at Blue Mountain Academy is where I met Jesus Christ. And so, come on, we can do this. There are individuals who are in the midst of life and death because of not knowing him, and we can do our part to share the love of Christ with them. All right, I want to say, first of all, thank you to my alma mater, Blue Mountain Academy, for just allowing me to be a part of this. I'm glad to be here with Jim, my classmate, and Patricia. Thank you for leading the National Alumni Association, and I'm looking forward to see Dwight and what he's going to do. He was at Blue Mountain Academy when I was there, and he was a few years ahead of me. But his brother Paul and I, we were classmates together, and and let me tell you something about Dwight. Dwight, if you ever seen Clyde Drexler play basketball, that's Dwight Salter.
Yes.
Dwight was very smooth. So
that dates you, man. Be careful now.
So good guy, and I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do as well for Blue Mountain Academy. Well, Bernie, can you close us out with prayer, and let's just ask the Holy Spirit to just totally surround this event, surround everything that we're going to be doing over the next several weeks as we're going to see donations come in to meet this goal. Can you ask the Holy Spirit to be here and be on this event for us?
Will do. All right, Father, we thank you for this wonderful day you've given us and this weekend we have with alumni. We thank you for the burden that you've placed on Jim's heart, and the same burden of supporting our students has been on the hearts of many people around this country that have ties to BMA and may not know exactly how to do it. But now we have an opportunity to be part of something bigger. And Lord, I pray that you touch those hearts out there with prayer, with monetary donations, with being able to support the school in many different ways. And I just want to put a blessing on Sarah and Jim as they're training for this event in September, that you will keep them safe. It's not always the safest thing with training, and Satan doesn't like what's happening. He doesn't like the support that's coming. Lord, and we just pray that blessing on them. Thank you for Greg and his coming on and being willing to help with this interview. And there's a lot of alumni there. We just pray that you help us to be able to connect with them as people start reaching out, make those connections grow, and this grassroots effort really take off, because this is ultimately for our students, Lord. You know that, and you know what will happen, and Satan does not want to see it, but we're excited to see what you're going to do through this school. So thank you again. Continue to bless us, and may we be ready for your soon return. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. We're up to 3,400. We're during prayer. Went up another $100.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right.
Well, we thank you for joining us, and we ask that you have a great day, and make sure, again, you share at all your social media platforms. Let your friends, people who are your fellow classmates, reach out to them and let them know what you heard about today. This video will be up on YouTube, so you can actually go back and tell them if you want to know all about what's happening. You don't have to explain to them. You just say, go watch the video, and Jim will tell you all about it. And Bernie Culpepper will tell you how the funds are going to be used. It's all here. You don't have to do too much of anything. So you go out there and donate. Get people enthusiastic about it as well. And I'm sure we'll all be the better for it, because BMA is worth it.
That's right.
Amen. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Being part of the Race for Eternity program is just one click away. As we come closer to our goal, we want to remind you how you can be a part of this amazing project in very simple steps. All you have to do is visit the BMA website at www.bma.us. Click on Special Events at the top of the screen. Then click on Race for Eternity in the drop-down menu. Next, click on the big blue button, Donate Now. Then all you have to do is fill out the form. Fill out your billing information and credit card information and make your payment. If you'd prefer to write a check, please make it payable to the Order of Blue Mountain Academy, and in the bottom left memo, write Ironman 2021 fundraiser. Thank you so much for donating to this worthy cause of helping students in their race for eternity.